So we're at the a meeting to express appreciation for the timber industry and the value it gives to Queensland, and also some of the challenges facing it. And I'm with Sharon Lohse, who is a property owner nearby, and you've had some dealings. Could you want to give us some comments about the meeting?
The meeting, it was very well, it was great to see that the meeting was well represented from different industries, the sawmillers, the landholders, showing an interest in coming forward and learning about what is going to happen with the amendments to the forestry code. My concerns out of the meeting is, one, we need statistics. We need statistics to take to Parliament. We need statistics to go out publicly in the media. We need to know the people that were here, what industries they represented, and also the meeting needed to be opened up to questions. So the
there were no questions, were there?
No. I would assume everyone that came here came with an inquiring mind because they're concerned about the amendments. If we had opened up a discussion on how is that going to affect the graziers, how is that going to affect the sawmillers with supply, all that coming from the people that have come here with obviously an inquiring mind to question that.
So the meeting had a wonderful potential, but it wasn't fulfilled.
It started and then it stopped.
Okay, so let's move on to something else. There were three concerns that I saw coming out of this. One is that that everybody in the timber industry is concerned for the environment because the things that Palaszczuk want to bring in and the Greens want to bring in are going to hurt the environment. That's number one. Number two, they're concerned about their own industry because it's a wonderful, naturally renewable resource industry. And the third thing is they're concerned about their communities because these communities rely upon this industry, and so they'll be devastated.
What I really need to bring you back to is in 1999, when the process of the grazing leases and the state forestry blocks were taken and put on a timeline of termination. It was mentioned here today, 2024. That's where we need to start to solving this problem. The state forests should never have been closed up. They were sustainable industries. It's only government that declared them not sustainable. This wasn't,
with no data.
With no data. Because as a grazier, we know there was no data because nobody ever came, and the herbarium, the Department of Environment never sent out any people to do surveys on our land. So they had no evidence to shut down the state forests in the first place.
It's a really important point. But let's go on to your own situation. Can you tell us quickly what happened in your own case and how they stole your land?
Well, again, wrapped up in this Southeast Forest Agreement, they said that the grazing leases had to shut down for the best interests of the land and the public interest.
No data.
No data, no surveys. Also in that process, we had to surrender our title for them to change that over. AgForce advised all the people that held grazing leases to surrender their leases to a more secure title. It wasn't a more secure title. The people that did that are now off of their leases. We did not surrender our title.
But you had to fight to not surrender.
We had to fight not to surrender. It is the only thing, the main reason why we were still able to argue our case legally is we did not sign away our property rights, even though we were tried to be tricked into it.
Well done. And what are some of the other aspects that are hurting the farmers and also the forestry managers?
Well, the farmers surrounding and the forest itself, the environmental good of these properties now getting locked up from forestry industry practices and grazing is we are going to get massive wildfires, we are going to get feral animals come through, we are going to get massive weed explosions because the public service cannot, the people on the government payroll are not going to be able to adequately manage these forests. It's going to be at a cost to the public. Where you have people on this land, they do it at their cost.
Well, we've seen, Sharon, property rights being stolen, graziers, sugarcane farmers. We've seen farmers who own stands of timber. We've seen them lose their property rights, and that's just straight theft. And the property rights, the use of land for some of the graziers, that is blatant theft, and it goes against the Constitution. They haven't been compensated. So we're wanting compensation or restoration. The second thing is we've had water rights separated from property ownership, and that's been devastating for farmers right around the whole Murray-Darling Basin, but also even outside the Murray-Darling Basin like in here. And we've had our energy prices being now crippling, and all of them have been driven by the UN's Kyoto Protocol and then the UN's 1992 Rio Declaration. So basically, we've been at a Vietnam Veterans Memorial service this morning and breakfast to commemorate the Vietnam War veterans. And it's as Churchill said, the destruction of a country will come from within. And it's through adopting UN practices and laws through the UN's Kyoto Agreement and so on. That's what's destroying our country.
I'd like to also say one of the strong questions that most people would have came here with today is, why is it necessary to close these down? The management of them at the owner's expense is going to cause demise also in the economics of towns surrounding. You take the landholders off, you close down the small family sawmills, the local towns that need that agricultural activity that snowballs out into the broader community. Once 2024 comes, we will also see a big change in the dynamics of the population of your small towns. Yeah,
and from Cairns to in the north to Cunnamulla in the south, Charleville, you name it, country, Home Hill, Ayr, there are massive numbers of shops that are shut, retail businesses that are shut, other service businesses that are shut, and that's destroying rural and regional Queensland.
So we're going to see the same flow-on effect of the closing of our farming.
Yeah, and then we see a dwindling of resources, dwindling of services, and that just keeps the snowball going.
Population.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Malcolm.